Well, I thank the Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, I do rise in opposition to H.R. 2543, but I do want to thank my friend from Houston, Texas, and our colleagues on both sides of the aisle that worked on many of the bills that are in the package today. And it's a shame that that package was not put together in such a way that we could be here in a bipartisan visit about the ones that we actually support, that we think could be enacted into law. Instead, Democrats have put together a partisan package of bills that politicize our central bank and do nothing to address the insidious inflation that's hurting all American families and workers, black, brown, and white. And if it's one thing I know, Mr. Speaker, it's that H.R. 2543 will not become law. Mr. Speaker, on Monday, Arkansans woke up as they went to work and fill up their tanks for the week to $5 gas. Not as high as it is here in Washington, but $5, hurting all of our hardworking families in my state. And while Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is still towing the economically illiterate party line on inflation, even economists from the left of center admit that government spending was too much and not targeted. Don't believe me? Listen to President Obama's key advisors. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers predicted a month after President Biden took office that the proposed American Rescue Plan would, and I quote, set off inflationary pressures of a kind we have not seen in a generation, close quote. And now Larry Summers is forecasting a recession. Steve Ratner, Mr. Obama's former economic advisor on his staff, said, Mr. Biden was, quote, wrong to omit the important contribution to inflation from excessive fiscal and monetary stimulus, close quote. The truth is, after the CARES Act and the December appropriations bill in 2020, there was plenty of COVID money left over, and the economy was well on its way to recovery with vaccines being distributed. But House Democrats supercharged demand-side stimulus by adding another $2 trillion in unpaid-for spending in that so-called American Rescue Plan. Mr. Speaker, Americans aren't feeling rescued. They're feeling like hostages, hostages to the daily theft of the Biden inflation. Now, Mr. Speaker, the president now fashions himself as a budget hawk, saying last month that he personally reduced the deficit last year and complaining that we on this side of the aisle aren't giving him any credit. But what he doesn't tell you is he's taking credit for deficits that were falling due to those expiring COVID programs. The facts are Mr. Biden has not reduced deficits. In fact, he's increased them. The Congressional Budget Office latest numbers project $16 trillion in additional debt between now and 2032. So I hear a lot of talk about deflection on our House floor today, and the deflection of this bill, Mr. Speaker, is the deflection from the insidious inflation that our families are facing. If House Democrats were serious, they would target and spend less money. They'd stop blaming Putin and accusing American companies of price gouging. They'd stop cutting off energy to American energy companies through ESG mandates and intimidating banks. And they'd stop threatening trillions in more taxes. And while government spending and supply chain constraints have contributed to higher prices, this inflation stems too from the Fed's loose monetary policy. Too loose, too lax, for too long. And just as House and Senate Republicans worked to tailor and end the COVID funds at the end of 2020, we also urged the Federal Reserve to end zero interest rates and begin shrinking their balance sheet. Instead of doing anything to address the root causes of inflation, H.R. 2543 on the House floor would instead expand the Fed's mandate to include socioeconomic disparities. 2 weeks ago, Mr. Biden met with Fed Chair Jerome Powell in the Oval Office, where Mr. Biden said he embraced the Fed's independence. Apparently, House Democrats didn't get the memo. At a time when our central bank has failed to carry out its current mandate for sound money and price stability, Democrats want the Fed to not only be a climate regulator, but also to end racial inequity. Expanding the Fed's mandate to address socioeconomic disparities would further inject uncertainty and risk into the Fed's monetary policy and politicize our historically independent central bank. House Republicans believe Congress should return to pre-pandemic debates on our spending priorities, abandon economic pop science fads like modern monetary theory, and I urge the Federal Reserve to return to its core mission, and I urge my colleagues to reject this bill, H.R. 25.